My child, the moment you opened this message, something in the unseen world shifted for you. Heaven leaned closer, your angels stood alert, and a divine file with your name on it was opened again. I need you to listen carefully to every word, because nothing I'm about to reveal is small. Your life has a hidden chapter that you were never told about, a chapter written 8 years ago, a chapter that someone tried to erase, a chapter that carries your name on a massive property blessing. Yes, my child, your name exists on something huge, bigger than you imagine, and I am about to expose everything that happened behind your back, everything someone tried to hide, every detail that was kept from you. You think you know your story, but you don't. What you see is only the surface. But what was happening beneath the surface, what was happening in the documents, in the legal rooms, in the shadows, in the quiet decisions, in the hidden conversations, those things were never told to you. And today, Heaven wants you to know that your name was placed on a property deed so big, so valuable, so destiny-changing that if you knew the size of it at that time, you would have fallen to your knees in shock. But with this great blessing came a great attack. Someone close to you, someone who pretended to support you, someone who once smiled at you, someone who once used kind words with you, has been working secretly to remove your name from that blessing. And the most unexpected part? The same person who is now trying to erase you, is the one who originally put your name there. My child, don't let this surprise confuse you. Human hearts change. People who once helped you can later try to harm you. And blessings that are meant to elevate you often attract jealousy from the people who never expected your life to rise above theirs. This story didn't start today, it began 8 long years ago. That day, the person who is trying to erase you now was full of confidence, full of dreams, full of excitement. It was a cold evening, the kind of evening where the air itself feels quiet, as if it's waiting for something to happen. That person got dressed, walked out of their house, and headed toward a lawyer's office because they believed they were finally receiving the inheritance they had waited for their whole life. They thought it was their day. They believed the property they had been dreaming about, the property they had imagined owning for decades, was finally going to fall into their hands. They walked into that office with pride in their chest, thinking, "This is mine. Today, my name will be written on the deed." They sat down in a chair right in front of the lawyer, and all they wanted to hear was their name being read aloud as the new owner of that valuable property. The lawyer opened a file, full of legal papers, tax documents, court notices, payment histories, none of which mattered to this person. All they cared about was the final document, the property deed, the paper that would make them feel powerful. The lawyer read each line slowly, professionally, carefully. Everything sounded normal at first. Everything sounded positive. But when he reached the last part of the document, his tone changed, the room grew still, and destiny took a sharp turn. The lawyer looked up and said the words that shattered their world: "You cannot inherit this property. Legally, you are disqualified because of unpaid debts and financial issues." Those words were like a stone dropped on their chest. 30 years of waiting, gone in 1 minute. Their face went pale. Their breathing changed. Their hope collapsed like glass falling from a great height. But instead of accepting it, instead of facing the reality that they were not eligible to claim the inheritance, they searched for a shortcut. A loophole. A trick. A way to beat the system. And that was the moment they thought about you. Not because they loved you. Not because they respected you. Not because they wanted to bless you. They chose your name because your record was clean. Your identity was untouched, pure, and safe. You were the perfect person to cover their disqualification. So without your permission, without your awareness, without your consent, they used your name. They wrote your name on the property deed. In that moment, you were added to something that was never meant to be yours in their plan. It was only meant to be a temporary mask to protect what they wanted for themselves. But what they didn't know was that heaven saw their trick before they even attempted it. I watched every move. I saw every intention. And while they were trying to use your name for their own benefit, I changed the script. The moment your name touched that deed, the moment the ink printed your identity on that paper, I stepped in and placed a divine seal over it. I turned their trick into your destiny. They thought they were using you. But I was positioning you. They thought you were their shield. But I was making you the rightful owner. They thought your name was temporary. But I made it permanent. Still, they didn't stop. Over the next 8 years, they moved in silence. They redirected notices to different addresses. They hid documents. They talked to officials quietly. They paid taxes using your name. They planned step by step how to remove you when the time was right. They cleaned up their debt. They changed their financial records. Not because they had become better people, but because they wanted that property back. They wanted to remove your name once their situation looked good again. And 2 months ago, when they believed everything was finally in their favor, they returned to the lawyer's office. They walked in with pride. They walked in thinking they were finally going to take back everything. They told the lawyer, "Remove that name. Put my name back." They were so confident, so sure, so ready to claim what they thought belonged to them. But, my child, humans can make plans, yet it is God who decides the final result. The lawyer opened the file again. He reviewed the documents. He studied the dates. He examined the signatures. And then he delivered a sentence that destroyed the 8-year-long secret plan. He said, "This cannot be undone. The name on this deed has been registered for more than 8 years. According to the law, the property belongs to the person whose name is already recorded. It cannot be changed." In one moment, every plan they created collapsed. Every hidden move failed. Every strategy turned to dust. My child, they were defeated not by the lawyer, not by the system, not by a signature, but by my protection over you. My child, now open your heart because what I'm about to reveal will finally make the entire story clear. When that person tried to remove your name from the property, when they begged the lawyer to erase you, when they pushed and pressured to get the blessing back, nothing worked. And it didn't work because heaven had already spoken. The blessing that entered your life by accident in their plan, became permanent by intention in my plan. But you need to understand something deeper now. You need to understand who this person truly is, why they turned against you, and what this property really means for your future. The person who tried to erase your name is not a stranger. They were never far away. They were not someone you barely knew. They are someone who has been inside your personal circle. Someone who smiled in front of you. Someone who acted warm, supportive, and trustworthy. Someone who once stood near you, close enough to touch your life, close enough to influence decisions, close enough to know your weaknesses, your strengths, your habits. This betrayal didn't come from outside. It came from someone who sat with you, talked with you, laughed with you. And that is what makes it painful. Because pain from a stranger wounds the skin, but pain from someone close wounds the soul. This person once placed your name on the deed not because they wanted to bless you, but because they wanted to use you. When they were drowning financially, when their life was collapsing, when debt surrounded them like walls, they looked at you and saw a way to escape. They didn't choose your name because it was sacred, they chose it because it was useful. They didn't see your kindness, they saw your clean record. They didn't see your heart, they saw an opportunity. In their mind, you were not chosen by destiny, you were chosen by convenience. But then everything changed unexpectedly. Once your name entered that document, something divine happened. The deed became yours in the spiritual realm. Heaven approved it. Angels recorded it. And the blessing that was supposed to be temporary became a part of your life forever. The moment your name came onto that paper, the property stopped being theirs and started becoming yours. They didn't know this. They didn't understand that heaven had just written your destiny in ink that cannot be erased. For years, they stayed quiet. They didn't tell you anything. They didn't hint. On the outside, everything looked normal. They acted calm. They acted friendly. But inside their heart, they had one goal: to get their blessing back. To erase you. To reclaim what they thought belonged to them. They cleaned up their finances not because they wanted a better life, but because they wanted the property. They created a new public image not to grow spiritually but to manipulate the system. For 8 years, they pretended, they planned, they waited, all while knowing that the property was sitting under your name. And then, 2 months ago, when they believed their life was finally back in order, they walked into the lawyer's office with full confidence. They thought the timing was perfect. They thought everything was finally under their control. They believed that because they fixed their mistakes, because they cleared their debts, because they looked legally clean, the property would automatically shift back to them. They didn't expect any resistance. In their mind, the property was already theirs. But, my child, they didn't know one thing: when God seals a blessing, no human hand can unseal it. When the lawyer told them that the name on the deed cannot be removed, that it had been legally registered for 8 years, that the property belonged to you now, not them, their face changed. Their pride fell. Their confidence cracked. Their plans turned into dust. Their entire strategy collapsed like a house built on sand. They walked into the room thinking they were strong. They walked out feeling powerless. They had tried everything. And everything failed. Not because the lawyer refused. Not because the system blocked them. But because heaven protected you. My child, the reason they turned against you is simple: jealousy, fear, and regret. They regret ever writing your name. They fear your rise. They are jealous that something they wanted for themselves has now become your blessing. They cannot stand the idea that you, a person they thought had nothing, a person they believed was not competition, are now legally, spiritually, and divinely connected to a blessing that is far bigger than anything they ever imagined for you. They didn't expect you to become the owner. They expected you to be temporary. They expected to use you and then erase you. They didn't see your future. But I did. They didn't see the crown on your head. But I placed it there. Now, let me reveal something even deeper. The property you are connected to is not just land or a house. This blessing carries spiritual, financial, and generational value. It carries authority. It carries influence. It carries the power to lift your entire life out of struggle and into stability, security, and abundance. When I attach your name to something, it's never small. It's never ordinary. This property is a symbol of the shift that is coming into your life. It represents the end of lack. The end of suffering. The end of waiting. The end of living below your potential. It represents the beginning of abundance, the beginning of increase, the beginning of breakthrough, the beginning of divine favor. My child, you need to understand that when this blessing reaches you, when this inheritance comes into your hands, it will not only change your life, it will change your mindset. It will change your environment. It will change your position. People who once ignored you will watch you in shock. People who once underestimated you will be silent. People who once mistreated you will be humbled by the way I elevate you. The person who tried to erase your name thought they were smarter than heaven. They thought they could outplay destiny. They thought they could reverse what I had already written. But now they know the truth: your blessing cannot be stolen, cancelled, delayed, or destroyed. They tried to remove you behind your back, but I defended you behind theirs. They plotted in secret, but I protected you publicly. They planned your downfall, but I planned your rise. They tried to take back what they lost, but I gave you what you never expected. My child, now we move into the part of the story that will open your eyes and prepare your spirit for what is coming next. You already know that someone close to you tried to erase your name from the property. You know they tried to take back what heaven transferred to you. You know their 8-year-long plan fell apart in seconds. But now you need to understand what is happening after their failure, because the moment they walked out of that lawyer's office defeated, a spiritual countdown began. A shift started. A new door opened for you. And heaven started preparing the blessing to move in your direction. That person left the office with a storm inside their heart. They were angry. They were shocked. They were embarrassed. They were confused. They couldn't understand how something they thought they controlled had slipped completely out of their hands. They didn't know that heaven had been blocking their steps, closing doors they tried to open, turning their strategies into failure. They walked out thinking, how did this happen? How did I lose something that was supposed to be mine? How did their name become permanent on that deed? But the truth is simple: they lost it the moment they tried to use you for their gain. And they lost even more the moment heaven decided you were the rightful owner. Now listen closely, my child, because what I'm about to tell you will make you understand why the blessing will come to you sooner than you think. When heaven transfers a blessing from one person's name to another, it is never accidental. It is always a sign that the first person was never meant to carry it. Their heart was not ready. Their intentions were not clean. Their character was not strong enough. Their mindset was not aligned with destiny. That blessing could not remain with them because blessings require trust, purity, and purpose. They wanted the property for power, for pride, for control, for status. But heaven needed someone whose heart was humble, whose spirit was open, whose life could carry the weight of that gift, and that person was you. You need to understand something important now. This property is not just land. It is a symbol. It represents the breakthrough heaven has been preparing for you. It represents the favor that is about to fall over your life. It represents the shift from struggle to stability, from confusion to clarity, from being overlooked to being chosen. The property is the physical sign of a spiritual truth: your season of lack is ending, and your season of abundance is beginning. Heaven does not give land to empty hands. Land is given to people who are ready to build, ready to grow, ready to rise. And you, my child, are entering the building season of your life. But let me show you what is about to happen to the person who tried to remove your name. You must understand their destiny too, because their chapter is connected to your elevation. After they failed to erase you, they began searching for another way. They started asking around. They started looking for loopholes. They started considering new ideas. But heaven has already closed every path. Every door they try will be locked. Every plan they make will fall apart. Every move they attempt will collapse. Not because I want to destroy them, but because I want to protect you. This blessing must come to you untouched. No confusion. No more delay. No interruption. This person will face 3 things now. First, they will face exposure. The truth will start coming out. People around them will begin to see their intentions. Their behavior will reveal itself. Their frustration will expose their jealousy. And what they tried to do behind your back will begin to show in small and unexpected ways. They will no longer be able to hide the bitterness they carry. Second, they will face emptiness. Everything they tried to build on manipulation will fall apart. Financially, emotionally, and spiritually, they will feel the weight of the choices they made. The more they try to take from you, the more they will lose for themselves. And this emptiness is not punishment, it is correction. It is the universe forcing them to confront their own choices, forcing them to see that greed leads to loss. Third, they will face distance. Heaven will begin removing them from your path. Conversations will grow cold. Communication will fade. Their presence in your life will become smaller and smaller. And this distance is necessary, because your blessing cannot flow into your hands until the wrong people step away. This property is connected to your future, not theirs. And heaven will never bring a blessing into a space where betrayal still lives. My child, listen carefully now. The blessing is on its way. And before it arrives, heaven will send you signs. You must watch for these signs, because they will prepare your heart. The first sign will be a sudden sense of separation, from people, from places, from cycles that no longer fit your life. You will feel a quiet push in your spirit telling you that you are outgrowing old environments. This is not loneliness. This is preparation. When heaven gets ready to bless someone, it first removes the voices that will doubt or block the blessing. The second sign will be unusual clarity. Your mind will feel cleaner. Thoughts that once confused you will suddenly make sense. Decisions that felt heavy will become light. You will start seeing the truth about people. You will start recognizing who supports your growth and who fears it. This clarity is heaven reorganizing your mind for the next season. The third sign will be unexpected opportunities. Doors will open that you didn't even knock on. People will speak your name in rooms you have never entered. Conversations about you will happen in places you have never been. Phone calls, messages, chances, these things will start appearing in your life because heaven is aligning resources for your blessing. Now, let me tell you something even more powerful. When this property blessing reaches you, it will not come quietly. It will come suddenly. It will come in a way that surprises even you. And when it comes, you will feel a shift inside your spirit, a shift that tells you that your life is finally moving into the chapter heaven wrote for you long ago. The property is not just a blessing, it is a confirmation. A confirmation that every struggle you survived had purpose. A confirmation that every delay was protection. A confirmation that heaven never forgot you. The person who tried to erase your name will watch this blessing reach you. They will see it but will not be able to touch it. They will hear about it but will not be part of it. They will realize that what they tried to steal is now the very thing that lifts you higher. And in that moment, they will finally understand the truth: you were chosen by heaven, not chosen by them. They used your name, but heaven approved it. My beloved child, take a deep breath and open your heart, because now we arrive where everything comes together, where the blessing that carries your name begins moving toward your hands, where heaven releases the final piece of revelation. This last part is long, deep, and full of truth, because your spirit must be fully prepared for what is coming next. You are not standing at the beginning of the story anymore, you are standing at the moment right before your breakthrough arrives. And heaven wants you to know exactly what will happen, how it will happen, and what changes will unfold in your life once the blessing reaches you. My child, ever since the day that person failed to erase your name, heaven began releasing a chain reaction, an invisible movement that has been building quietly, slowly, powerfully. When heaven decides to deliver something, it begins shifting everything around you without you even noticing. People start moving. Situations start rearranging. Paths begin to open. Your spirit starts feeling different. And you may not fully understand it yet, but the blessing is already on its way. The property blessing is not being prepared. It is not being processed. It is not being considered. It is being released. You may feel like nothing is happening, but that is because heaven works silently before it works suddenly. What looks quiet in the natural is loud in the spiritual. What looks still in your life is actually movement beneath the surface. What looks delayed is actually being positioned. And what looks blocked is about to break open. My child, listen carefully now, because this is how the blessing will come into your life. The first thing that will happen is a shift in your atmosphere. You will wake up one morning and feel something different in your spirit. A heaviness will lift. A weight will break. A sudden peace will surround you, even if your situation hasn't changed yet. That peace is not ordinary. It is a heavenly sign. It means the blessing has been dispatched toward you. It means your angels have already been ordered to bring what belongs to you. It means the spiritual door that was previously closed is now open, and your name is shining under heaven's spotlight. The second thing that will happen is that unexpected communication will begin to reach you. A message, a call, a conversation, a piece of information, something will come to you that connects to the blessing. It may not look obvious at first. It may look small or ordinary. But it will be the first earthly sign that what is yours is beginning to surface. You won't have to chase it. You won't have to beg for it. You won't have to struggle for it. It will come toward you on its own, guided by a divine hand that has already decided your time has come. The third thing that will happen is that obstacles will begin to fall one by one. Problems that once looked impossible will suddenly become simple. Confusing situations will suddenly make sense. Stuck areas will begin to move. People who once blocked you will lose their power. Decisions that were pending will start going in your favor. This will not happen because the world is kind. It will happen because heaven is clearing your path. The blessing cannot arrive until the road is prepared. And heaven is preparing your road right now. My child, once the property blessing is released into your hands, your life will not remain the same. A major shift will happen, because this is not a small blessing, it is a destiny blessing. It carries the power to push you into a new season, a new level, a new chapter. And once you step into that chapter, 3 big changes will unfold in your life. The first change will be your identity. You will no longer see yourself as someone who always fights, struggles, survives. You will begin to see yourself as someone who owns, someone who receives, someone who carries greatness. Your confidence will grow. Your faith will deepen. Your voice will strengthen. You will not walk with fear anymore. You will walk with authority. You will walk knowing you are chosen, protected, and blessed. The second change will be your environment. People around you will start treating you differently. Doors that ignored you before will open. Opportunities that passed you before will return. Connections will grow. Resources will come. You will begin to see favor in places where you once saw rejection. Your presence will carry a divine energy that others cannot ignore. This blessing will lift you in ways you couldn't lift yourself. The third change will be your future. The property is not just land. It is a foundation. A starting point. A stepping stone for everything else that heaven has planned for you. Once this blessing reaches you, more blessings will follow. Once this door opens, more doors will open behind it. Once your name is honored in one place, it will be honored in many places. This is not the end. This is the beginning of your rise. Now, my child, let me speak to you about the person who tried to remove your name. Their chapter is ending. Not because they are cursed, but because they cannot walk with you into the season that is coming. Betrayal cannot walk into destiny. Jealousy cannot walk into favor. Hidden motives cannot walk into blessings. They played with your name, but heaven protected it. They used your identity, but heaven elevated it. They attempted to erase you, but heaven secured you. Their plans have come to an end. Their influence over this blessing has died. What was once in their hands is now sealed in yours. From this point forward, heaven will distance you from them. Not suddenly, but slowly, gently, peacefully. Conversations will reduce. Interactions will feel different. Your spirit will no longer feel comfortable around them. This is not loss, it is protection. Heaven is removing the wrong people so the right blessing can enter. My beloved child, as this blessing comes closer, heaven wants something from you, not fear, not worry, not doubt. Heaven wants your spirit to declare one thing. A simple but powerful truth that will align your heart with your destiny. And that truth is, what has my name on it will come to me. No one can take what heaven has written for me. Say it again inside your heart. Feel the power in it. Feel the strength in it. Feel the divine truth in it. My child, your time is coming. Your name is protected. Your blessing is sealed. Your future is prepared. Your path is cleared. And your destiny is rising. Now let me give you the final, deepest truth of all, the blessing that was used to harm you. The blessing that was meant to be temporary. The blessing that someone tried to steal back. Is the blessing that will prove to the world that heaven's hand is on your life. This property is the sign that your story is shifting. This property is the evidence that your season is changing. This property is the promise that heaven never forgot you. This property is the beginning of everything new. My child, your name is written. Your name is sealed. Your name is protected. Your name is chosen. The person who tried to erase you failed. The blessing that belongs to you is coming. And no human hand, no hidden plan, no secret jealousy can stop it. Walk with your head high. Walk with peace. Walk with expectation. Walk with faith. Because very soon, my beloved child, the blessing with your name on it will finally reach your hands.